Welcome back to another episode of Hailing Frequencies Open, where each week Will and I open the frequencies for your hails on our hails that you hailed when we hailed about the episode of Star Trek.
They're hailing us. Hailing frequencies open.
Captain, we're receiving 285,000 hails.
I wish I knew what to tell them.
This week, we're going to start with our review of A Matter of Honor. So these were a couple comments on that video. Starting us off, here is Captain Alimar. He says, Klingon killed my son. I will always be a Star Trek 3 hater. I'm so glad Caleb brought up the motion picture from dead last to second from last. That's progress. Yeah, it did change. I rewatched Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, and it was a pretty good one, guys. So you're definitely missing out. Yeah, I still have not done that. I've been a little busy. I barely watched the episode that we talk about every week, so. He says, thanks for the answers on the question TOS ship takes the win. I like that Will factored in the culture around Star Trek in his answer, and Caleb just looked around his room for whatever ship was laying around. By Caleb's favorite ship standards, the Constitution is my favorite too. That's funny. Question for this week. If you were given the task to convince Starfleet to enslave a race of robots, how would you go about it? Thanks again, guys. Keep up the good work. That's a heavy question. It sounds a lot easier when you put it on paper and you just say a race of robots. It doesn't
Yeah.
imply that like they're sentient or any of that fun stuff.
Yeah. I think I would just have to prove to them that like they don't do anything that would consider them self-aware, basically.
Yeah.
They have to act like a Roomba or like a, I don't know, just something that has like
But that's where it starts.
no function.
That's how it starts. You use robots that have no function for our own benefits, and then they rise up. I say, don't even build robots. That's what I say. Nothing good has ever come from robots. And that's the thing too, like even in our timeline, we've seen like, movies in the Terminator. And
Yeah.
people are still like, hey, you know what? We actually should build robots. It's like, why?
We
Have we
should
learned
probably
nothing?
put artificial intelligence in robots.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, that's a good idea, Boston Dynamic. Yeah, definitely put AI, definitely put Chat GPT into a robot. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
We haven't seen like iRobot or Terminator.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. No, it'll be fine. So my stance on that is don't have robots. Just eradicate them all.
Yeah.
Next comment here is from my office. He says, it's okay to hate the TNG bridge, Caleb. As someone on your show said earlier, it's okay to be wrong. Uh-huh. It's true. I did that was said. I do appreciate you guys reading what I mean and not what I actually wrote. Sorry for the typos. It's tough keeping track of 6,000 words. Yeah. Well, that's what we get paid for.
Yep.
We get paid to keep track of your rambling thoughts. It says Caleb clearly hadn't thought about the transporter pad piece. You volunteered the info, Will. I think you spoiled him. Yeah, I never really thought about the
Yeah.
floor piece of the transporter. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, transporter can do just all sorts of just amazing things.
All I can say is that I may have spoiled his dinner by feeding it to him, but you brought the meal.
Yeah. And you keep talking about it. Then you keep telling me how good the meal
You
was.
keep reminding him.
I haven't eaten in 3 days. Hey, remember when we had like that turkey dinner 3 days ago? That was good.
But I'm not supposed
No,
to
I
have
don't.
turkey.
I can't have it. He says to defend my rating of a matter of honor, the Klingon captain and the Benzite officer do detract from the overall episode. The Klingon info is neat, but I'm viewing this episode through the wider lens of all Star Trek. Therefore, it doesn't land the same way for me. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't have a wider lens, so I like it.
Yeah, that's what we'll do is we'll watch all these episodes and then we'll go back and rewatch
No,
them all. And
no.
then you'll be like,
Now that I have a wider lens of all Star Trek, this episode doesn't sit the same way for me. Yeah, I'll give it 3 Roddenberries. Because we have a different scale by then, you know.
oh yeah. Oh, by that time, oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our review of Matter of a Man. Well, the
Measure.
measure of a man, the matter. Beneath the man, we find his nucleus. Okay, so we start here from the Daystrom review. He says, I'm going to preempt all of my comments now with anime style summaries of the episode. Oh boy, this is going to be good. Star Trek TNG, Picard breaks a chair over the prosecution's face. Data's slave status confirmed. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. The name Philippa is Snodgrass's pen name and the name she gives her self-insert character in her legal drama novels. Snodgrass has a huge, huge thing for Data. If you see her name from now on, there's a good chance it's a Data-centric plot. Interesting. Yeah, I appreciate his anime style. If we're going based on like what we've learned from like Dragon Ball Z, is that this episode would be titled what will?
Data defeats the prosecution or something like that. Or Data
Yes.
wins the case or something.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Picard breaks a chair over the prosecution's face. Data's slave status confirmed.
Yeah. That is funny to me because a lot of other animes have like these really long titles with like question marks in them. I think,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z does sometimes too, but
Yeah.
pretty good.
That is good.
So he continues here. He says, depending on whether or not you watch the extended version of the episode, when Picard should be studying or planning his legal strategy in the full version of the episode, he just goes to fence in the gym instead. Where Riker then comes in to interrupt and tell Picard he'll be serious about it. Then Picard goes to work with Data on their strategy. This is hilarious writing, but probably not intentionally so. That
Yeah.
is really funny.
He's like, well, I have to go fence some more.
I gotta go shoot those cubes. This is basically a open and shut case.
Yeah.
Riker's my friend. He's not gonna do nothing. He says clearly Caleb needs to revisit Star Trek IV The Undiscovered Country for the most famous non-warrior Klingon, a famous poet. There is no Hamlet like the original Klingon Hamlet. Yeah, I forgot about that guy. He was real into Earth
Oh,
poetry, wasn't he? Yeah.
very much so.
Yeah, that's wow. That's all
Wow.
coming full circle now to me.
Yep.
So he was trying to romance Kirk?
Yeah. Oh, hey,
Oh,
nice.
right, right. Isn't
Nice.
that what I'm seeing? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to romance Kirk. Yeah.
Was Kirk throwing anything at him in that episode?
Torpedoes.
Oh, practically a wedding. He says, why was Riker performing a Vulcan pinch on Data such a big deal for Federation officers? Isn't this something we've been doing in space for decades to each other? Klingons are strong, Vulcans are smart. Data being both is the biggest nothing burger argument.
Yeah,
That's
Picard
funny.
does try to be like, yeah, there are species who are like who have mega strength.
Yeah.
It's like also there's species that are mega intelligent. And it's like, no, look, he could bend this thing. He can
Mm.
calculate these things.
Yeah. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah. A lot of other aliens could too. Yeah, but he lives on our ship. Yeah, but a lot of other aliens do too. Like Vulcans are super strong too, but you know.
Nope.
But
I
he's a
can't.
golden robot man. No, I don't like it. So he says, Snodgrass, I have this sweet story idea. Roddenberry, no, that's an awful plot. Snodgrass, because Starfleet wouldn't support slavery? Roddenberry, that's fine. Snodgrass, lack of agency given to Data? Roddenberry, that's fine. Snodgrass, not enough characters try to defend Data? Roddenberry, no, that's fine too. Snodgrass, so what's the issue? Roddenberry, no lawyers, only detention prisons with mind control machines and extreme
Narcotics.
for lawful obedience like we did for TOS. Snodgrass, nothing. And put a short skirt on it. Oh boy, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so the next comment here is from my office. He says, one of my favorite episodes of TNG overall. 3 Akutas from me as well.
Nice.
He says, poker game time. Time to pluck a pigeon. What does that mean? Thanks for explaining. Yeah, we did go on a deep dive of
Oh yeah.
that was ridiculous. Yeah.
That was like
Uh,
the most deep dive review we've gone into.
yeah.
Because we went into the pigeon thing and then we went into
The
something
hat
else.
thing.
That's what
You
it was.
talked
Yeah,
about the hat and the
The
pigeon
hat.
and yeah, it was a nightmare.
That poker game was made us turn to the internet more than I think anybody's ever turned to the
Yeah.
internet.
He says introduction of Riker bluff. Watch out for Riker's poker face. He says Picard and Philippa sitting in a tree. KISSI. KISSISSIPPI. Another Andy Dwyer reference.
Got him.
I like that there's some I like that there's some history here between these two with her being a part of Picard's court martial when losing the Stargazer. Yeah, I do like that backstory. I don't like their weird love interest.
Yeah, yeah. The backstory is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that he called her out, feeling she wasn't after the truth, just the process. It's a nice setup for the upcoming proceedings, making you wonder how she'll rule or which way she'll lean.
Only thing I'll say to that is that like the answer is yes.
Data's a main character, and there's no way he's going to be sent to a
Well,
lab. Yeah.
yes. But
Well, but other than that,
like, and I'm sure he'll comment on it. I just find it really amusing that he was like, "These are all the things I like about this scene," and it's like, but that's incredibly muddled through all of the like. But don't you
Mhm.
want to hurt me, and don't you want to like bash a chair over my
Yeah.
face?
Do you want to
Like
sleep with me or hit me? Both.
both.
I say, why can't we have both?
And then he's like,
Have you ever been to Paris?
and then it's like, well, as long as you'll be fair in the proceedings. And then you're like, okay, where?
It sounds like she's not going to be, right? Because he already is like saying that he has an issue with her legality.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like setting it up, it's just one of those, it's just bad writing for the audience to be like, oh, this could go either way.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
well, yeah, no, I know. I get what you mean. I get both sides of that.
It's just showing that Picard can't, like, Picard logic this person because they have bad history. That's really all
Yeah.
it is.
That makes it even funnier. Like Thayserm said that the previous like edited scene was that Picard was just like, I'm not even gonna take this seriously, and just went like fencing and
Yeah,
didn't even like just put his argument together. It was like, of all people, he should have been the one that was like, all right, I have to take this seriously. She's horrible.
right,
She's gonna look for anything. Yeah, that's fine.
right, right.
But they didn't show that scene, did they, Will? So
They didn't.
good. He says Commander Bruce Maddox has his eyes on Data. He's here to work on Picard's android like he's just some piece of equipment. It was interesting to hear that Bruce evaluated Data when he applied to Academy, but turned him down due to not being a sentient being. He keeps referring to Data as it and wants to disassemble him. I hate the disrespect to Data in this moment. Looks like Data is being reassigned by order of Starfleet Command. Oh no, they do a great job of making us dislike Bruce Maddox. Yeah, he's a tool.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's terrible. The thing that's like weird is like what he brings up is the fact that they're like, oh yeah, Bruce was there when they were evaluating him when Data was going into Starfleet Academy, and he's like, no,
Yeah.
he's not sentient, so he can't go in. And then this other panel was like, yeah, we think he is sentient, so we'll let him in. And
Yeah.
now we flash forward whatever, like 10 years, 15 years, and it's like, no, he's not sentient. We're gonna have to have a
Yeah.
whole legal case over that. It's
And
like,
that same panel is like, yeah, yeah, you can open him and look at him.
yeah, it's
He doesn't have like a good track record in Starfleet or anything. He hasn't had like, two separate crews that like vouch for him and say he's a great asset to the ship. Nah, just
but like,
yeah, take his head off. Look at his robot parts. It doesn't matter.
but also, wouldn't you think that Picard would have gone and like pulled up the documents on what they ruled for him to enter Starfleet Academy?
Yeah, it's this is what happens when you start breaking episodes down, you know? Because on the surface, you watch this episode, you're like, oh man, a court case on Star Trek. Yeah, I enjoy it. And then you break it down, and it's like, well, but none of this makes any sense. A lot of
No,
the data stuff is like that to me. A lot of it is like, well, he's been on a previous ship and he's been on this ship for 10 years, but we don't know anything about him and we're gonna learn about it now. But how has he been in Starfleet this whole time? I
no.
evaluated him. I said no. I said no, we don't need a robot. And they all said yes. And now here we are 20 years later. And they've finally given me the permission to take apart this robot. Open his robot brain. I don't know. And here's another thing. It's like obviously they don't want to bring up lore or anything in season one, because why would you?
Yeah.
But that would have been an interesting concept, right?
Oh
That this
wow.
doctor could like have parts of lore that he was studying or,
Yeah. Well, like I
but
don't know. Like maybe even go to where they found Data and just look at like documentation there on the
oh, and
planet.
not to mention 2 weeks ago we talked to an old guy that mentored the guy that built Data, and it's sort of like we don't know anything about him or where he came from. He's like, oh yes,
Yeah.
I was there when you were built. I remember all the pieces. I instructed him how to build you. Anyway,
That would have been an
I'm
interesting
dead.
episode if he like subpoenaed the Enterprise computer because he wanted like the information on cybernetics in it.
It's just weird. It's weird. You can't have a character that you're like, well, we found you on this planet. We don't know anything about you, but then also be like, oh yeah, you were created by Singh, and there's this scientist that that taught him, and they're still around,
Yeah.
but we don't know anything about you or where you came from. Like, but you do. You just said you did. You know.
Yeah.
Were those guys like hiding from Starfleet? Are they like bad guys? Are they like wacky scientists that Starfleet doesn't command? But we've also seen there's other scientists that create mutated children. That's fine with
Totally
Starfleet,
fine.
but
Totally fine.
it's not, but it is, and
It's called Nobody Thought About It when they filmed the other episode that preceded this episode.
it's called continuity, is what it's called. Yeah, there you
Yes.
go. So he says here, if Geordie's eyes are better with a visor, then why are humans not required to have this also? I question the reasoning here. We've seen how Geordie's sight works, and there are some benefits to the visor, but overall his visor isn't superior in my opinion. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it's not like it's like perfect vision and
No. It was
heat. He can detect heat, and it's not like predator vision.
Yeah, the thing that I was thinking about when Data says it, I was like, Jordy's eyesight isn't better. It's not superior.
Yeah.
It's just like it's
Yeah,
different.
I kind of get the argument that he was going for, but it's like it doesn't really work.
Right, right, yeah.
Again, he could have referenced the planet that those scientists were making those super soldier
Oh,
children, right?
yeah.
Like So if that makes humans better, then why don't we do that to everybody? Why don't we
Yeah, right.
make everybody superhuman, right? That's a
Or
better question.
yeah, or just go into like Starfleet history and bring up like Isaac Clarke's arm and
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it does make him a better engineer, but you're not going to put robot hands on all engineers. It's true. Yeah,
Yep.
he could have brought a bicycle. He says all those blurry colors and visual noise would be hard to live with. But I do agree with Will that it was a good way to get Picard behind the cause and fight for his friend.
Yeah.
He had to take a hard look at himself and he didn't like what he saw. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I made him leave. Get out. Get out of my
Get
room, Data.
out.
Jordy, I need you to build me cerebral so I can see.
Jody, I need you to build 4 more visors.
Yeah, one that goes over my head and I can find all the mutants.
I can find all the
Uh,
sentient robots in the galaxy.
that's good. That's really good. Because Data is not human, the transfer cannot be stopped. Maddox just comes inside Data's room. How rude. I like two things here that Data calls out Maddox on not asking permission to enter. Also, how Data brought out that while his memories can be saved, but the substance of the events cannot survive the procedure, a unique being could be destroyed. So, to protect Soong's dream, Data had to resign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff is cool. Yeah,
Yeah, like his reasoning behind resigning totally makes sense. And the fact that Data's
absolutely.
like, this doesn't make any sense why you're just coming in here was also very nice.
Well, because he's not a living being and he has no respect for him. That's the point. Don't you understand? Don't you understand? I enjoy this scene because I enjoy seeing Data like packing his stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think it's such a great use of that scene to use it later on in the court
Mm,
document, you know?
yeah, yeah. Yep.
Picard being like, "Hey, so you resigned from Starfleet. So why are you bringing this stuff with you? You know? Why would you bring stuff that has like an emotional memory to it?"
Like, this serves no purpose.
Yeah. It is a funny argument too, because like you can just talk to Data and understand within like 5 minutes that like he's not just a calculating robot. He's
Right. He's
way
like,
more human than
he's like,
most people on the ship, you know?
he's like a functioning person, right?
But to still be like, well, no, he's not sentient.
The funny thing to me that I always think about is like that sequence where he's packing his things, and then when he's in 10 forward and he's getting like the presents. I just was thinking like anybody else, like over time, would be like you know, you store stuff, you might give away stuff, you might throw stuff out,
Hmm.
you know, or you just kind of forget how you got that item or how it came into your possession. And then, but Data is like, oh, people that are I serve with like me, and they gave me this thing, so like he'll always keep it. He'll
Yeah,
like
I know.
never ever get rid of it, type of a thing. So
It's cool. Yeah, I enjoy that a lot, actually, that whole sequence there. Yeah.
yeah,
Especially when he goes to explain it, you know, like, oh, well, that was a gift from you, Picard. Like that was,
right.
like that's cool, you know. And again, like I said, the Yar thing was like a great callback. Like
Yeah.
I was very happy that they did that because it would have been so easy for them to just ignore that, you know, like they've done before.
Yeah,
But to
they
use
roll.
that and be like, no, he's holding on to it because he had like an emotional connection with this character and she's dead. Like it doesn't get more human than that, yo.
They
Yeah.
decide, you know, we're not going to bring back an image of Tasha. What we're going to do is we're going to roll in like a small unit of the Enterprise computer and be like, look, his grandfather is he has he has relatives.
Let him go. Let
Yeah.
him go. He is sentient. I am not.
Also, could you imagine if they also decided to instead to do this cool bit if Picard just was like, allow me to tap into the Enterprise computer, and then they just played like flashback sequences of Data doing things,
Oh,
and he was like,
yeah.
"Look at here," and it's just full 4 minute, 6 minute scenes of like him fighting Lore, right? Yeah, exactly, dodging the lasers and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, anytime that they bring up like, "Hey, watch this video of this person doing this thing," it's like it's always like
yeah. Oh
there's
yeah,
just cameras everywhere. Luckily, they haven't done that yet, right? In this series so
yeah,
far, I don't think.
not yet.
Not yet, you know. I know they will. I know they will. They can't help it. They love the
Oh
idea that it's filmed by a live crew that's doing a documentary on it, you know.
yeah.
Show the footage from yesterday.
Well, to be honest, they do kind of do it in the episode of Schizoid Man where they show him stills, and it's just like stills
Oh
from
yeah,
like the episodes and stuff.
it
So
is. That is true. Yeah, that is true. Good call. Good call. He says Maddox argues that Data is a machine and not a person. Would you allow the Enterprise computer to refuse a refit? I think this is a weak argument. There's clearly a difference between the computer and Data. I agree with Adri on this. Also, the Discovery argument from Will. There's a clear reason that computer is sentient. It's not your typical Starfleet computer. Sorry, I have to dismiss that argument as well. Wow, he's really on a tear. So he agrees with Adri and disagrees with us.
yeah,
Wow. There was a nice friendship moment between Geordi and Data at the party. It's great to see them continue to build this. My guess is that Geordi wants to fight for Data, but as a lieutenant, how much could he really do? Maybe he felt helpless in this moment. Yeah,
it's possible, but
I like that. And also, you know, to further that point, it's not like they summoned anybody to the bench from the crew, you
no,
know?
no, it was literally the the thing they're fighting over and the person who's fighting for it. That was it. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, the whole episode, like, I'm not letting this issue be like resolved by this Starbase admiral and the
yeah,
scientist. Like, this is going to high command
right. I was just thinking
immediately.
like what we were saying was the literal court proceedings would be like bringing somebody up like an assault charge, and like the victim would go up and be like, yes, I was assaulted, that person is sitting here in the courtroom, and I believe they should be punished for their crimes. And then they're like, okay, let's bring up the perpetrator, and they bring them up, and it's like, no, I did not assault them, I have no idea who they are, I've never done anything to them. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
this is it. Like, we'll have to make all of our decisions after hearing from these two people.
All right, Judge, what do you think? I don't know. Does
Perfect.
his arm come off? No. Well, geez, even
Yes.
tougher. Even tougher. Oh, this. That's
Yes,
funny.
it does.
According to current law, data is the property of Starfleet. Laws from the 21st century. How have these laws not been updated? Plot. Uh, I love the moment Riker finds his silver bullet and then also immediately regrets it. That is a good, yeah.
Yeah.
Riker has a couple of nice moments like this in the episode. Yeah, I did really enjoy that. He was like, "Oh yeah, this is
Mm.
totally gonna be great for the." And then he was like, "Oh, but Data's my friend." Yeah, it's good. It says Klingon books like of Targs and Warriors or around Kunos in 80 days or Honor and Dishonor classics. Do you think Klingons have a dictionary in the future?
100% they have a dictionary in the
Yeah,
future. How are also
yeah,
all these authors knowing the right words to write in their books?
yeah. It's Gwark's new translation.
Yeah,
'Cause-
it's like it works the most honorable dictionary.
What is Data? An automaton made by Noonien Singh, who is a human. Data is a supercomputer for sure, also very strong, but his hardware and software was made by a man. Now a man will shut it off. Pinocchio is broken, his strings have been cut. I love that Riker hates what he just did. I'm totally on board with Adri on this scene.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
There are no strings on me.
10 forward time with Picard and Guinan. This is quite the meaningful conversation about the value of data and disposable creatures. Slavery hidden behind the euphemism of
Yeah.
property. We are also machines, just of a different type. Data created by humans, also created by parents, are children property. I guess they kind of are for a while, right? Isn't that why parents get tax breaks? Yeah, that's that's a good way of looking at it.
They're like, yeah, I guess we shouldn't tax you as much because you have more things.
Since you own more beings,
Yes, yes.
it says Metals, a book from Picard as a reminder of friendship and service. A Tarsha Yar hologram. Tarsha was special to Data. They were intimate. Nice touches to show that Data, while not having emotions, clearly had deeper connections with some people. It was a nice way to humanize him. Yes, we already talked about this. Picard does really shine in this scene. What is required for a sentence? Intelligence, self-awareness, consciousness. Data is intelligent. Data is aware of himself and his own ego, his own actions. Data's right to choose status, my life. Seems reasonably self-aware to me. I like that Picard asked the big questions of Maddox. Do you like Data? Are thousands of Datas a race? What if he has consciousness? Are you prepared to condemn androids to a life of servitude and slavery? What if Data meets the third criteria?
Yeah.
Does Data have a soul? They must give him freedom to explore this for himself. Data has the freedom to choose. Transfer canceled. Matters called Data he. Nice to see a change of heart, but I still don't like him. Feels just a little forced.
Oh yeah. It's time
Yeah.
to wrap up the episode in a bow. So
Yeah. It's the ending. You're like, hey guys, 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I was totally wrong. I really like you. I think you're sentient and you're a great, you could be a great friend one day. All right. I'll see you later.
Oh.
Bang, bada, bang. Yeah. It's every ending right there.
Yep.
Riker feels guilty for almost costing Data his freedom. Riker injured himself so Data could be saved. This was just a terrific scene. I loved it. Yeah, that is a great, great
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
Party time.
We will
Yeah.
feed from that. We will feed from that for a long time.
Feed. Yeah.
Feed.
It's probably the best scene we'll get this season. He says, party time. Freeze frame midair high five roll credits. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Great review. It's always enjoyable listening to you all talk about Trek. Time for me to go pluck a pigeon.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, that's good. Popcorn award. Maybe this is a hot take, but I'm going to give it to Jonathan Frakes. His moments of satisfaction and disgust with his prosecuting and the ending scene with Data and the observatory lounge were powerful.
Absolutely. So, this is the big question to you. Adri said that Brian Brophy got the popcorn award. Captain Olimar said it was Picard, Patrick Stewart, and now from my office is saying Jonathan Frakes. So, who does get the popcorn award for being the best actor of the episode?
I am gonna say I'm gonna be different than everybody. I'm gonna say it's Brent Spiner this episode.
Okay.
There's a lot of scenes that he does that makes you feel like, he's like hurt by things going on. He just acts in a way where it's like, this whole thing is about him. He's just a great actor in this episode. It really makes you feel for him, and you're rooting for him the whole time.
Yeah, I can agree with you because if he didn't sell him being like a if he didn't make you feel like he actually was an android, a lot of the stuff would fall flat.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, a
Um,
lot of this stuff could just be hit or miss. Because it's
right,
like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I get it. He's a robot, you know.
yeah,
But he acts in a way where it's like he's not just it's easy to be like, oh, he's an android,
you're right.
and then he just, act and walk around like a human, but like he carries it so well that like
He
I believe
does.
that he's a
Yes,
robot man.
yes. So who would you say, since they gave you three different choices, who would you say is the runner-up?
That is Jonathan Frakes. That would be the
Nice,
runner up. Yeah.
nice,
Yeah. I agree with From My Office. He does the two specific scenes. He acts very well in those scenes.
nice. Well, thank you guys for your comments. Helps us, explore thoughts a little bit more, maybe dig into an idea yet again. So that's nice.
Yeah. And it's fun that, we get on in the morning and talk about an episode and we just ramble and ramble. And then it's fun to like hear you guys, like your difference of opinions.
Yeah.
Sometimes you call me out for being wrong. That's always fun.
I really enjoy
I
that.
really enjoy it. I enjoy that you don't like my stances on the movies. That's always fun because Search for Spock is the best. No, I've never said Search for Spock is the best, but it's definitely not bottom. All right, well, now it's your favorite time.
Yes, it is.
What's popular this week?
This is popular, so popular. This is popular this week.
What's your guess?
Well, I think it's something from Enterprise,
Wow,
and then maybe something loosely connected to the original series.
cool. That's always fun. All right, let's see what we got here. This is from username Aidis00. He says, in what order would you rank the seasons from best to worst of Star Trek Enterprise? Oh man. This is tough. Man. So all right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna say from worst to best
Okay.
is 3, 4, 1, 2.
2 is the best. Okay.
I think 2 is the best. I really enjoy a lot of 1, but there's a lot of like, finding their footing
I can
in
agree with that.
season 1. I think season 2 everything is more fleshed out. I think because the characters are better. They have more fun like adventures and blending into societies and infiltrating stuff.
Yep.
I really enjoy season 1, but season 1 has a lot of like back and forth with like, well, the Vulcans are doing this, and they're
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
letting us do this, and we don't like the Vulcans. But you get a lot of good like Andorian stuff in season 1 too, though.
Sure.
I don't know. This is hard. It's hard because I haven't seen it in so long. It's been probably
Yeah.
more
Been
than
a
a
long
year
time.
since I've seen. It's been a long time. Uh, I'm gonna stick with that. I really don't like the Zindi season
Yeah, I think you and
at
I
all.
both can agree that 3 is at the bottom.
I really don't remember 4 now that I'm. Also, I haven't
Um,
finished it, so
True.
can't rank it.
My one of my all-time favorite episodes is in season 3, which is Phlox in control of the Enterprise.
Oh, okay.
That's one of my like all-time favorite episodes just because John Billingsley is like hilarious and I also just kind of in general enjoy the episode.
Yes. There are a couple really, really good episodes in season 3,
Yes.
for sure. But they don't have anything to do with the Zindi stuff. That's what I mean.
Yeah, which is
You
yeah.
know,
Yep.
Shuttle Pod 2 is in season 2, correct?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because if it's in season one, then
Then that flips it for you.
that takes the top spot.
Yeah, it's episode 16 of season one.
Ooh. So season one is the best. Season two is second best.
Then
Season
4-3.
four is third best, and season three is fourth best. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be a little crazy, and I'm gonna say
You know.
2-4-1-3. That's really difficult. Three is at the bottom. There's no doubt about it. Two is definitely the top for me because there are a handful of episodes in here that, like, when I ever think about rewatching
It's
Enterprise,
two. Yeah, it's season two.
I'm always like, oh well, yeah, I gotta watch, the one where Archer's brought in front of the Klingon Council,
Yes, and I have rewatched that one. Yeah.
right? Or like he's arrested and they're on the prison ship with the
Oh, the prison
Annoying,
ship. Yeah.
yeah. Or
The Ferengis.
they find like the time ship. One of my
Mm.
favorite ones too is Dawn, where Trip is crashed on the planet
Oh
with the
yeah.
weird
Oh, dude,
lizard man.
that's
Yeah,
a great episode.
right,
Oh
right.
man, that's a great episode. Yeah, season
Van
two is top tier.
yeah.
Easy.
Vanishing Point where Hoshi is like thinks she's running invisible.
Oh, that's a good episode too.
There's a lot. There's
Yeah.
a lot of
You
they
make a
steal
lot of great. Yeah, you make a lot of good
like
points.
Malcolm gets punctured in the leg with the mine.
Mm.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and then the one where they find that space station that like fixes the ship, but then it takes
Oh,
Travis.
oh yeah.
There's a
And it
lot. There's
has
just
a
like a lot of.
yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff.
So I was right. Season two is top tier. It's number one. Easy.
Yeah. If just basically if I'm gonna watch it, that's what I'm gonna watch. Plus, also, I don't want to spoil too much, but like the Borg are like one of my
Mm.
top favorite things, and this is
Oh
the
yeah,
episode
that's
where the
right.
Borg are in it.
That's
So
right.
it's it's pretty good. But the only reason I put four above one is
Because
because
the mirror episode.
yes, is because Manny Koto came into this season, and this season specifically was trying very hard to connect to the greater Star Trek.
Yes.
It literally was like you have the mirror episodes, you have dealing with Klingons losing their cranial ridges, you
Yes.
have
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
like the Foundation, like the coalition of planets, like the Federation is starting to become a
Yes.
thing. You're making the Vulcans not be so terrible. Like, well, like they're not like Spock
Mm-hmm.
isn't like this, and it's like, well, they work all that stuff out. Obviously, Nazi stuff is a callback to TOS, and
Mm-hmm.
the augment
Those are
stuff.
those are
It's like
fun.
I don't care about it as much, but again, obviously, it plays into
Yeah,
the Wrath of Khan, and it also plays into Data being made. So it's like,
that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it does connect more, which is good. I so at the time I just was
right,
sick of augment stuff
right, yes,
and I was really bored though. And it's like three episodes. It's like three full episodes
yes,
of
yes,
Brent Spiner going to find his augment children and
yeah,
their
yes.
hierarchy. It's just like I kind of over it, but
Yeah, totally, totally.
yeah. The season finale is great, I hear.
It's really good. You're gonna love it.
But this is so to me, this is the thing about Enterprise. Like this is why Enterprise to me is top tier Trek, is because even when you have a bad season like three, like I don't care about a lot of the Zindi stuff. The reason that you watch it and you still enjoy it is because the characters of Enterprise are great.
Yes,
You know, Archer,
yes,
T'Pol, Phlox, Malcolm, and Trip are like top tier Trek characters. You
yes.
know,
Yep.
and even Hoshi's great. It's like so. Even the bad episodes, like the characters that you love are still doing cool stuff.
Oh yeah. I do feel
Yeah.
like they did always kind of make Travis's character like a little underutilized because even the episodes where it's like a Travis
hmm
center thing, it's like they're not really that interesting. You know,
I enjoy Travis as
I
like
do
the
like
the
him,
the
but they
pilot.
don't.
Yeah.
Any episode that they made it like around him, either something was happening to him and all the other characters are like elevated, or it's
They really
okay.
tried to flesh his character out with it, like having animosity between like his dad and his brother, and
Right, right. Yeah.
so yes. So I think you and I both agree season two is top.
Yeah. No, we basically just
Yeah.
flipped our
Then
1 and 4, really. That's
yeah.
which is arguably a hard decision to do anyway. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
they're
three,
tough.
but three is at the bottom.
Three is on the bottom. Yeah. But not by much.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
by much. Because there's a lot
I,
of good episodes in three.
I've never been a hater of the Zindi stuff. It's just not something I actively want to go back and rewatch.
It was, yeah, it's okay. It goes on too long, in my opinion.
Yes.
Like there's other cool stuff going on, but it's also one of those things where it's like, it's a cool concept of like this alien species wanting to destroy Earth.
Yeah.
And that's the whole purpose of like why we're in space.
Yeah.
But it has no relevance, it's like no other Trek talks about it. It doesn't
Nope.
hold any weight,
Nope.
other than like, Stephen House's parents being killed in the Zindi War. Nothing else is really referenced it.
Yeah. The I think it's just really proof in the pudding that this show was heavily affected by m the modern world, just like new how New
Hmm.
Trek is like 9/11 happened,
Yeah.
and also TV was starting to become serialized, where you had to watch every episode in order. Like that was
Hmm.
the show 24 came out,
Yeah.
and that was like the driving point for all other television shows to be like, well, we this is what we need to have. We
Yeah.
need to have a thing that makes you watch every single episode, because if you miss an episode, you're behind. Like you've missed content. So with those two
I
things,
can't.
it's like, well, three has got to become now serialized television, but also America just got attacked. So we're gonna have that theme be Earth is attacked,
Yeah.
and now you're coming after those
And
people.
now you're like racist against,
Right.
xenophobic and
Yep,
yeah.
exactly.
And
That's why
that
they
to
had.
me is fine because TOS did that constantly too. They always
Oh
made
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
talks
yeah,
about like the war,
yeah.
all that stuff.
100%,
But
100%. Yep.
did anybody post on this? What
Did they
their
make any comments about it?
Yeah,
Somebody said 4, 3, 2, 1. One was the
no
worst.
way. Not a chance.
The stories, they liked the fourth season because the best. The first season seemed like they rehashed old Star Trek episodes. Four, four is the best. Most people say that the first season, so far, what I'm reading here, is like what you said. Like they're kind of just like setting up the characters.
They're just yeah, making ground, yeah.
Everybody is pretty much putting
Four at the top.
four at the top.
Hmm.
Some people are putting three at the top,
Those people need to be
and
severely talked to.
they feel like some people are saying I like three the most because that's when I started to watch the show.
Well, there you go. Like we always say, it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, almost every single person is saying four at the top. Like every
Hmm.
single.
That's because everybody holds on to this potential of what season five could have been. That's what it is.
It's that and the fact that all of season, like a lot of season 4 connects to more Trek, which is what
Yes.
that's all Star Trek people want, is they want continuity. So the second you give continuity, it's like, oh well, I love this thing.
See, I can give season four top just because of the mirror stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like to me, that is such a great. Like I was blown away when we watched that original episode of TOS, and then we
I
watched
know. Yeah.
that episode, and I was like, man, that is so cool how they connected that in. Like just man, it was good.
It was everything
That's
you've
good
been waiting
writing.
for.
And that's the type of stuff that like this show that comes out later that takes place before has to do. You have to write into episodes of TOS.
Yeah.
you know? And that to me is why the Xindi stuff didn't really work because it's like, well, Kirk never talked about how, aliens had blown up half of,
Right.
Texas or whatever it was,
Florida, yeah.
Florida, yeah. That's what it was, Florida, yeah.
It was like Florida to Cuba or Panama or something. Like they do like the
Mm,
whole.
maybe we'll
Yeah,
get some animated Enterprise stuff.
maybe. I think they honestly could do an animated Enterprise show like they did the original series and just
Oh,
have
it'd be great.
a
Yeah.
couple more seasons.
Mm,
Give them the full. Give them 3 more seasons animated, and end the show.
I know it'd be good.
So
It would be good. It'd be good. All right, so the next thing here is from Strange New Worlds Reddit. Oh.
me
This is
me.
from user Demi Fiend RSA. It says official season 3 poster. Well, that's a really cool poster.
And there it is.
July 17th, baby. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good month. It's not like that's like the most busy month that we have
No.
going up all summer.
Yeah. And it's and it's 10 episodes, so it won't run from like July to September. So,
Yeah, this is a cool poster.
it is a cool poster.
I enjoy how, the red stuff is on the right and the blue greenish stuff is on the left.
Yep,
Very aesthetically pleasing, you know.
it is.
It's pretty cool. Must be all these people made it back from the battle with the Gorn, yeah. So they're fine. I don't see his
Totally.
girlfriend, but she wouldn't be there anyway. So.
No, she's dead.
This is a weird looking planet too. This is like a No Man's Sky style planet.
Yeah, yes. Yes. Thought you'd like that because that was released as of yesterday of this recording. So yeah.
Cool. I do like it, yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us on this episode of Hailing Frequencies Open. But now we have to close Hailing Frequencies. So, Mr. Wolf, end transmission, Wolf. Just do it. Just turn it off. God, just do it. No.